I think we might have anime of the season here, folks. I really do believe that. Eizouken honestly just blew me away from start to finish, made me feel nostalgia from my childhood, and just had such beautiful animation that honestly, I don't really know how many anime from this season could really compete. Because it was just that freaking good. It was a really good first episode. The scene I'm talking about in question that made me feel very nostalgic was the opening sequence, honestly, of the show. The first minute of the episode, first minute or two, depicts the main female character basically as a child sitting down to watch anime. And it's very nostalgic, and it made me just remember my past because when this character started to sit down and watch anime, they were just like not thinking too much about it. They were just watching it. They were just being deadpanned, not really caring too much. And then as they started to watch it, it really just made them entranced. They were just drawn to the picture. They were drawn to what they were seeing. And eventually they started to sit up, and then they started to get in their chair, and then started to, have snacks on the side, and just being really engaged with the show. It reminded me of when I first discovered how much I love anime back a long time ago, back in like 2008 and 7 and all that. It really just makes me remember when I discovered Dragon Ball, when I discovered Clannad, when I discovered Shakugan no Shana, Zero no Tsukaima, when I discovered certain anime that really just kind of blew me away. I didn't really know what anime had to offer at the time, and I'm really, really excited for this series just because of this first episode. And before I go any further, if you want something to watch, and if you haven't really watched anything from this anime season, I truly do recommend you to watch Eizouken from this anime season. At least give the first episode a watch. And if you don't know where to find it, it's on Crunchyroll. That's where you can find it. And so, yeah, anyways, I want to get into the show now, talking about it. So, Eizouken. Well, it is an anime about our characters creating an anime. Yeah, it's kind of like meta in a way. But, I was already interested in the show when I heard that synopsis, because if I know anything when it comes to series that focus on making anime, manga, etc., like, the story's focused on that, then I know for a fact I was expecting great things from this, because I've seen from examples. Bakuman is a perfect example of a manga that is brilliant on really showcasing the inner workings of Weekly Shonen Jump, and also finding out kind of how manga is done in the first place. It really gave me a whole new level of appreciation for mangaka and how hard they work to really create what we love and read almost every single week, or maybe even every single day. And then, Shirobako, that came out, last decade. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of it until I went back to rewatch it in my own time, and it was fantastic. Shirobako was a great way to really show the struggles and efforts that people in the anime industry work with, for instance, with time schedules and having to work with individuals that maybe be behind on their work, or, they have to get ahead, etc. It was a really fascinating depiction on what goes on behind the scenes when it goes to creating an anime, or what happens at an anime company. And now it seems like this series, Eizouken, is going to be a story of a very simple upbringing. These characters, the group of 3, coming together probably to create their own individual anime, their indie work, maybe joining an animation studio or creating their own studio. Whatever the case may be, though, it is very fascinating just to see how they literally make their imagination come to life. And it's just such a fantasy line, honestly. When I think of someone saying, making your imagination come to life, it reminds me of my childhood when I first watched, let's say, a Disney movie, or I watched, an anime movie, whatever. It just brings me back, and that's kind of what these characters are doing. They are literally bringing their very imagination to life, and that's fundamentally what anime is, what manga is, what literature is, honestly. They bring their stories to life. They make these worlds, they craft these worlds that are fascinating, that really just draw you in, and you don't want to let go. And I know I've been gripped by so many worlds and stuff that I've seen throughout the years that I can relate heavily with what was happening in the second half of, this episode. Seeing how they were, drawing their own, world and all that, and then they were just daydreaming about what maybe this, design of this pod was, this mechanical object, and what it can do. They crafted it into a a ship that was like a dragonfly that was flying through the city and all that, having some battles, going through skyscrapers. It was really engaging, and I feel like this kind of really gets into the imagination of writers and animators, what they envision when they're creating something. And I feel like many that really love Bakuman, Shirobako, or just love art in general and really appreciate the medium as a whole are really going to fall in love with this series. It's definitely something that blew me away while watching the first episode. I cannot recommend this series enough. I dare say that it's a really strong contender for this year. Like, it's a way to really start out strong for 2020. Like, this is a really strong anime. It honestly reminds me of Tatami Galaxy, which that's kind of ironic in a way, because the director of this show is the same individual that directed Tatami Galaxy and Devilman Crybaby, and also Ping Pong the Animation. So yeah, that same director that basically has created some really iconic shows from the last decade is working on this as well. But it's not just that. What's even cooler about this is that we opened up the beginning of last decade in 2010 in April for the Spring of Anime 2010 with Tatami Galaxy. That's basically something that still was very relevant and many talked about to the very end at the end of 2019. And I feel like maybe Eizouken might be the same type of story. For instance, it's going to be really relevant, something that's going to be talked about for a very long time. And so I'm excited, honestly. I'm very excited just with this series, but also what this director can really showcase through this writing, which, by the way, this is not an original story. What I'm trying to say is that the director that, you know, created, let's say, Devilman Crybaby's anime to Ping Pong the Animation or Tatami Galaxy, this story, Eizouken, is based off of another work, a manga, and basically they're just doing an anime adaptation. So this isn't the director's actual work, but I think the director wanted to get this anime and animate it because it's something that he probably just sees the art style and the way the manga depicts it, something that it really fits his style of animation. So I'm excited. I'm super excited, and I'm pleased with this first episode. So yeah, I will definitely say that I'm looking forward to watching episode 2. You can definitely expect weekly reviews on Eizouken because I can't get enough of something that really just makes me appreciate the medium as a whole. It's just really nostalgic for me. So anyways, I love you guys. You have a very wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And before I wrap up this video, though, tell me your thoughts on how you felt about this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? How do you feel about the art and animation? How do you feel about the characters? How do you feel about that very jazzy or energetic opening song? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments down below. And with that, Chibi out.